Hello, it's the 24th of October 2023 and it's been about 9 days since I last took a video, and kind of feeling like this may be near the peak of fall color, so I wanted to shoot a video and kind of show how the trees are looking. Fall color is so variable from year to year. Some years it's really striking and some years it's not so great. This year is not bad. The maples look pretty good in most places. But some of the other species maybe are a little lackluster. So I'm kind of panning around here. You can see some maples in the distance. The oak trees are always usually kind of dull, although it depends on which species of oak too. So the sun's kind of intermittently out today. I'm not going to make this a long video, just kind of a walkthrough, quick walkthrough. So you'll see how in some different tree species the colors are looking brighter or duller. So this here is a wild black cherry, not very striking this year. Behind it there is a type of oak, kind of interesting but not real vivid. In the distance there, the brightest things, those are two sugar maples. Those are always pretty nice. Got a few different types of oaks here. None of them are really putting on much of a show. This oak here, this Bergamble, which looks like it still has quite a number of acorns on it. We'll take a look at these acorns. We should be picking some of these. That one, the one behind it's got a problem. That's what these look like. I've maybe shown these in other videos before. I probably should collect and plant some of these, give them away to people. Good precocious oak from Oikos. Nice color there on that white birch, paper birch as it's also called, and little dash of yellow with the asparagus fronds. Of course, the ground cover here of little blue stem is kind of iridescent. Gets this bronzy color in the fall. We just had our first frost a couple of nights ago, so that may be affecting the colors a bit, maybe causing some leaves to drop off sooner. Although it's fairly late in the season for the first frost. The serviceberry here has some nice color. And the wild plum thicket over there has mostly lost its leaves. As I pan down to the ground here, you'll see the dewberries have a pretty vivid color most years. Kind of this electric red and oranges. So yeah, in the distance there, we've probably got more wild black cherries, which don't seem to be too bright this year. Another white birch there that's not really looking like much, and a couple more white birches over there and there that don't really even have any leaves left. Or I guess one of them does, but they're not really too nice looking. So I'm going to stop and pan here. Now, normally there might be persimmons ripening over in that area, if I had any that were bearing, but this time of year we're late in the season. But things like autumn olives, apples, persimmons, possibly pawpaws would still be around, depending on cultivar. But yeah, every year is a little different and variable. So here you can see leaves of that. I think that's a Japanese heart nut or something. Got pretty singed there by the frost that we just had. This autumn olive has lost most of its leaves. There's some chestnut down there showing some color. These hazelnuts are showing some color, but not as bright as I've seen other times. And hazelnuts, excuse me, they vary from plant to plant and probably from year to year as well. So yeah, this birch here, the massive seed producer, that one does not really have any color. It's got a few yellow leaves, and it's got a bunch of brown seed, like cones maybe would be the right word. Let's see if we can go over and look at one of these. It's a seed dispersal mechanism. It looks kind of like what you find on alders. So these things. I'm amazed. I've never seen any reseeding with these for as many seeds as this one plant makes. You know, it's got to have tens of thousands of seeds on one plant. But no reseeding yet. Chestnuts here showing some color. This catalpa got nuked by the frost. You can see it's dropping some leaves. Down the laneway here, we've got some tulip, or one tulip poplar in the foreground that's kind of got singed looking leaves, and then another one just behind it that's got yellow leaves. So that's interesting. They were both planted from the same source at the same time. There's a cherry there up above in the canopy that's got some pinkish color to it. This 9-bark's pretty much lost all of its leaves. This autumn olive's about halfway gone. And this autumn olive over here with all the nice fruit on it has still got a fair amount of its leaves. And I showed this, look, there's a yellow jacket or something feeding on those things. But this is a great prolific fruit producer. So yeah, nice looking tulip poplar there. And the sumacs have pretty much all lost all their leaves a couple weeks ago. They were early this year. Unfortunately, the seed cone things are still kind of ornamental. Now, the deer will eat all the ones that they can reach in the wintertime, but there will be a lot above and below the deer browse line that will remain through the winter. So yeah, over here, pawpaw with some kind of drab looking color. They were kind of yellow a few weeks ago. There's pawpaw and pawpaw. Now the what was I going to say about pawpaws? I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, looks like almost like it's going to rain here. I don't think there's any rain in the forecast, but we'll just keep pressing on. This is some kind of panic grass. I don't know, I haven't properly ID'd it. Maybe also called deer tongue grass. Got quite a lot of it coming around in the understory shaded areas here. And it may be a native. I don't particularly love it or hate it. It's not something I'm thrilled about, but as long as it's not stilt grass or something that's considered a bad plant to have, then I'll just probably live with it and kind of keep an eye on it. So over here, persimmon that was grafted. These pecans still have, some of them have their leaves, so this one's nice and green, that one's yellow. I did plant some different pecan genetics back here. Some are northern local pecans and some were from down south. And I've lost track a bit of which one's which. So I'm wondering if the phenology will give me some clues, you know, how long they want to keep their leaves or when they bud out in spring, sort of thing. These chestnuts, the Pumila, what are they called? Chinkapin chestnuts, they've just finished in the last couple of days. This one is later than the other one. And I think 99.9% of the seeds have been harvested by me or wildlife. I'm not really seeing any on the ground. This Chinese chestnut is getting some color. And this big chestnut over here, the timber chestnut, has some color, although it's not very striking. And as we get over here, we've got a catalpa, a mulberry there with the dark, or still the bright green leaves. And you see some leaf fall is happening, not dramatically, but depending on the species. Now this black walnut in front of me has lost all of its leaves, and this one does not really have any fruit or any nuts to speak of. Surprised it's such a shy bearer because there are some other walnuts around here. So I don't know why this thing doesn't bear. It's kind of an awkward sized tree to cut down, but I'm thinking about what to do with it if I want to do anything with it. Because if in time it'll become quite a large tree and it'll exert influence over quite a large area, and just thinking, do I want that or not? In this spot in the garden, I may not. So as we pan over here, there's a couple of maples and there's a cherry behind it that's lost its foliage. There's some white pines. These tall evergreens are white pines, and you can kind of see that they're shedding a lot of needles this time of year. My aunt's been raking them up like a maniac. She loves to do that for some reason. She likes to pile them up by the road and have somebody haul them away, even though they make a beautiful mulch ground cover. She's fanatical about that. So I try to get her to bring them over to my garden, and you know, I can always use the extra organic matter. And sometimes she does that and sometimes she doesn't. Right now there's a pile of them by the road. So yeah, the sumacs over here, still a few leaves on these staghorn sumacs, although the winged sumacs have pretty much lost all of their leaves. And some of these chestnuts here are still nice and dark green. I did have my first couple of chestnuts this year from a tree that's over here behind this dark clump of alder there. That was a seedling from Allison, and had two burrs that had nuts in them this year. So yeah, the star attraction here really is these couple of sugar maples. Well, there's more than two, but the only two that you can really see from here. And how far do I want to walk over? I picked a couple of Cornelian cherry fruits. I think they're done for the season. Might as well go check. Even picking them really late, you know, as of a week or so ago, they were not very palatable still. They were still, I don't know, not something I would relish. I think you could make a jam or something out of them. Yeah, here's one left. That one could get softer. I'm gonna leave that so you can see on the ground. Maybe there's a couple. So maybe eventually try to graft that over to something better, or just leave it and use it as a processing type. So yeah, the sun will come out and favor us for a minute. It might set these colors off a little bit brighter. So I'm not going to walk through the whole place today. Just wanted to give a general idea of the fall color. And this may be as good as it gets. I don't know. I don't imagine, since some things are already kind of losing their leaves, I don't imagine it's going to get much more spectacular. Yeah, the hazelnuts are a little drab this year. Service berries look maybe better than they have some years. These river oats always put on a kind of a show. They're just attractive almost in any season. There's an oak there that's got some pretty bright color to it. These Chinese silver grasses are pretty ornamental as the seed heads come out. And they haven't been laid over by frost or ice yet. And in my seedling beds, still have a lot of plants in here I have to dig out. Have to kind of wait for the leaves to fall off. That's why I was glad we did get a frost, hoping to stimulate some of these leaves to fall off. Here's a bramble that's going to fruit soon, or it's setting fruit. So I can pull this stupid chicken wire off that I put in here to try to get rid of the, what are they called? Chipmunks. So this apple tree still got some apples on it. A lot of them have been falling. Deer have been eating most of them. This chestnut tree was all just had nothing but duds in it this year, but it had quite a few burrs, so maybe in a year or two. And then here's a nice little scene. The nanny berry has some good colors. Not much fruit on that one, but pretty good colors. The neighbor's got a few nice maples across the way there. This pear tree looks rough after the frost. Yikes. Looks like fire blight almost, but I'm hoping that's just the turning of the leaves for the season. This chestnut over here has no real frost signs. These quinces, it's kind of a good time to see the fruit. There is some fruit, odd shaped and weirdly sized fruit here and there on these quinces. Nothing too outrageous. So I think some of it's starting to fall to the ground. But yeah, there's some. There's probably a dozen or so that are the size of a golf ball, maybe. Not anything bigger than that on this plant. So yeah, we're just about done. Oh, here's some of these pine needles I mentioned. My aunt brought these over, which I'm glad for. So yeah, a little blue sky in the background makes a nice contrast. This peach tree is getting a little color, and there are still some of these amber autumn olives. Look at these things. These things have been, seems like they've been fruiting for 6 weeks or something, where they've been edible. I really should do a test planting and see, grow some of these seeds out for 3 or 4 years and see how many of them become differently colored fruit. So Sorry, I'm chewing. These catalpas got a little zapped. This pawpaw looks a little crispy. There's a, that's a Rose of Sharon, I guess, with this yellow color here. For a minute I thought it was something else. Here's a little mini hazelnut with some nice color. A little mini serviceberry with some nice color. Bigger serviceberry with good color. And the last thing I'll show is this quince, Rhamnotia quince. See, the deer have been working on this one fruit that I left pretty well. It does have kind of a nice smell to it. There's a couple still on the tree. I picked one of them off the other day and brought it inside. Pretty good sized fruit. It's almost softball size on that one. This one's a little smaller. But soon I will pick these, and they're still hard as hell. But I guess I'll bring those inside and maybe make something out of them. I don't know, there's not that much to work with. But they do smell good. They kind of remind me of Osage oranges that way. So anyway, that's just a quick walkthrough of the garden. I probably missed a bunch of things, but just wanted to give a sense of how it was looking. This may be as good as it gets this fall. So it's a beautiful day. Enjoy the fall while it lasts. Thanks. Bye.